Hey, how are you tonight? We are live right now. Join the show and share it, follow, and get ready. We're taking off. It's Patriots Inside the Wire tonight with our special guest. Special episode on Wednesday Warriors. Patriots Inside the Wire. Thank you.
Giving a voice to the voiceless. We share the stories behind our freedoms and the ultimate sacrifice of those who protect us all. This is Patriots Inside the Wire.
Patriot is someone who was willing to give his life for his country and served honorably in Iraq.
Signed our names with no regrets. Only wanted to be the best that we could be. And we wanted this and nothing more than to be true down to the core. We thought we'd live forever, but when the full moon is bright and the wind blows just right, I can hear your voice on the wind.
I should have left it. I came back on the perfect day. But you know what? It's really more than
21 guns into the night till we meet again on the other side. 21 guns. This is goodbye till we meet again on the other side. Yeah, 21 guns.
beautiful thing to see the family and friends come together and honor his life and his service to our country. It's great to see you guys out here. This is awesome, really.
Welcome to the Patriots Inside the Wire broadcast, hosted by Gold Star mom, Tracy Two-Step.
Hey, welcome back, Patriots Inside the Wire. We're just going to jump right into this. Welcome to the show. We are bringing our guests on right now. Welcome to the show, Mr. Commissioner of Texas, Agricultural Commissioner, Mr. Sid Miller. How are you doing tonight?
I'm just fine, Tracy. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you for being here, sir. We have appreciated here at Patriots Inside the Wire every last Wednesday of the month that you have made time for your fellow people of Texas, but not just Texas, all around to check in on the people and how we're doing and making sure that we have the information that we need to stay current. So we appreciate you for everything that you're doing out there. Commissioner, I have received so many calls, so many messages, and it's overwhelming in regards to Tracy. What is going on? What the campaign trail? Did you know someone that was actually there at the awful attempt on our 45th president? And I said, I do. And I'm not going to give a story that's not mine, but there is someone working really, really hard for everybody, we the people. So talk about the right person right here. We're going to just jump right in it, Commissioner. I know that your time is very, very, very limited. So I'd like to just let you tell us what you'd like to get into. Let's start with that.
Well, I was there in Butler, Pennsylvania, about 6 foot from the stage when Donald Trump was shot. I'll give you a little background because normally I wouldn't be in Butler, Pennsylvania. Now I go to every rally in Texas. Most of them I speak before Trump comes out. You know, Trump calls me, you know, Trump's man in Texas. So definitely part of the team. But about 4 months ago, Tracy, I decided that Trump wasn't going to be able to campaign in the fall like he needed to because he was either going to be in the courthouse or the jailhouse.
Yeah.
So I decided that I would go. I came up with a program where I'm going to all of the swing states. I call it my gas and groceries tour. So I got this a double-decker bus. I wrapped it. It's got charts going up the side on the how much gas has risen, how much groceries has risen, and at that time I had a big picture of Biden on the side saying, you know, I did that. So we took it to the state convention in San Antonio. Then I was asked to bring it to Butler, Pennsylvania, to the rally there because Pennsylvania is obviously a swing state. It was actually, I was on my way anyway to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to the National Republican Convention with the bus. So went but just a little way. So I decided, sure, I'll go by the rally in Butler, take my bus, and you know, see if I can get, you know, Pennsylvania excited about the gas and groceries tour. So that's my, so typical Trump rally. You know, I'm in front with the VIP section, about 6 foot from the stage. There's a little fence there, keeping, you know, the people back. Secret Service between me and the stage, and a lot of photographers in the photographer pit. Typical Trump rally. He's, you know, supposed to come on at 5. He comes out about 6 o'clock, an hour late, which is not unusual. So he starts into his presentation. He's into it maybe 5 minutes, and he does something he doesn't usually do. Usually at the end, towards the end of his speech, he talks about illegal immigration, building the wall, that kind of stuff. It's kind of what he wraps up with. But this time, for some reason, he decided to go right into the illegal immigration, the big surge we have. So he's off the teleprompter, he's off script. So he says, hey, can y'all put, behind me was a electronic screen, you know, a big electronic board. You see, can y'all put that chart up? I know y'all aren't ready. This is out of order, but could you get that chart up there? I want to show people what it was like the day I left office and what it's like today. So he's going on talking about that, and they finally get the chart up, and it's right behind me. And he turns to, so if I'm facing this far like I am now, I would have been on Trump's right, just to his right, about 30 feet. And that's where this electronic board is. So he turns and kind of tilts his head like that and says, right there, the last day I was in office was the lowest. And then I heard a pop, like pop. I thought, well, where did that balloon come from? I didn't see any balloons. And then I heard another pop, pop. I thought, uh-oh, that's not balloons. It wasn't very loud, so I thought it was a small 22 caliber, but I was wrong. Obviously, the reason it wasn't very loud, it was about 150 yards behind me. And so I turned to look at Trump and see if he's okay, and he's holding the side of his hand, you know, bloody hand, bloody head, and he goes down on the floor of the stage. Well, as soon as he does that, I hear a pop, 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 5 real rapid shots. So I don't know how many times he's hit. Secret Service by this time were piled on top of him, and I never ducked. Everybody ducked. A few people ran. Most people stayed put. Everybody ducked. I kept standing up. I'm looking for the shooter. I gotta find this guy. You know, me and the Secret Service agent, we're all scanning the crowd. We can't find the shooter. I think he's right there with us, and he's got a small, you know, probably a 22 handgun. And people behind me start screaming real loud. And I thought, oh, good, they caught him. So I turned around to look behind me, and the firefighter that got hit was right behind my right shoulder, and he was hit in the head, and obviously he was dead up on the impact. I mean, it's immediate. I mean, it hit him right in the back of the head. They didn't talk about it, but there was a lady to my left had a chest wound. And then about 2 chairs behind me, a young man I just met, Congressman Ronnie Jackson's nephew from Texas. We just talked. He got shot in the neck. And they didn't talk about him either. Just barely missed his jugular vein. I don't think he even had to go to the hospital. I think they just patched him up, and he got out of there. And so I thought, oh no, you know. And then people across the other side of the stage in the grandstands, the bleachers, there's two people shot over there. So I'm thinking, oh man, it's a crossfire. They're coming in this way and they're coming in from, you know, both directions. I was wrong again. Uh, the shots were fired, you know, from a building behind me, and you know, people on my side were hit from behind, and people on the other side were hit in the front. So about this time, I don't know what's, you know, I still can't find the shooter. I didn't know that a sniper, you know, probably already taken him out because they had a suppressor on the sniper's rifle, and I didn't hear it. So about this time, Trump starts moving, and he's laying looking right in my direction, so I can look him right in the eyes. And he starts to get up, and everybody's so glad that he's not dead. You know, we didn't know. I mean, you know, he wasn't moving. He couldn't tell he was under a pile of bodies. So he's getting up, and I'm looking at him right in the eyes. I thought, oh my gosh, he's going to the microphone. He's going to finish his speech. He's struggling. He's going to the podium. I thought, oh man, this guy is tough. He just got shot. You know, now where was I? You know,
Yeah.
But he couldn't get to the mic. With all the Secret Service around him, he couldn't get to the mic. So he did manage to, you know, wiggle out this arm and do the, you know, fight, and that excited the crowd, and the crowd started chanting USA, USA, USA. We were just so relieved that he was alive, you know, and still didn't know how many times he was hit, but apparently he was in, you know, not too bad a shape because he was yelling at the crowd and cheering us on. So they're whisking him off the stage, and the last thing I hear him say is, "Get my shoes, get my shoes." He lost both shoes when they piled on him. I guess they knocked his shoes off. But anyway, they whisked him off and put him in the you know, the Suburban. Off he went. Now there was 8 shots. 3 of them hit people on my side. 2 of them hit people on the other side. And I think one of those shots was the one that grazed Trump's ear. It was a telehandler, which is like a telescoping forklift on the other side, about 40 foot in the air, holding up a big row of speakers. One of the shots hit the hydraulic line on it, and as it lost pressure, those speakers come easing to the ground. And on my side was a big red combine, and on the other side, blocking the view, was a big John Deere tractor. Well, that John Deere tractor took one in the tractor, so that's 7 shots. I could never account for the 8th one. I don't know where it went. So, you know, I was wrong about it being a 22. I was wrong about being a crossfire. I thought it probably came from the water tower. I found out later that it, you know, was just a building about 130 to 50 yards, you know, behind us. It was quite an exciting day. It took us. We had to wait, you know, till the crowd kind of cleared out. That bus is not very nimble, but anyway, we finally got the bus out and spent the night there in Pennsylvania. Got up the next morning and drove into Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So that was my entire experience. It was the crowd were very well behaved. The security detail handled the crowd fine. And thank goodness there was no stampeding. People pretty much stayed put, with the exception of a few that just, you know, ran like jackrabbits. But everybody departed in an orderly fashion, and so there's no stampeding, and it could have been a whole lot worse. I think the stampede would have probably hurt more people than the gunshots.
As I'm listening to you, I can't imagine. So as you're sitting there, you know, I a couple of things here. You know, we have a firefighter. We have, you know, it's Patriots Inside the Wire here for a reason. Our patriots, our first responders, our military, those that are the people that are serving, and the reason that we have those rights that we do, and we go vote, are the people that were sitting there in that crowd. And we no longer have one of those first responders who was a father, husband. He was right behind you, literally over your shoulder, right?
Yes, yeah.
And can you say his name, please?
Oh, I should have.
I've got it.
I can't remember his name.
I got it. That's fine. And the lady, ironically, I don't hear much about her. I did know about Jackson's nephew, and I don't think many knew about the nephew. The one thing that everybody is saying to me, Tracy, how could they not know that that was not a balloon? That was not a pop. That was a short little building that this kid got up on top of all by himself. Like Secret Service is there, you name it. And I said, well, and again, I'm going to state a disclaimer here. You know, we are giving information. We are not the news. We are people, and we, the people, we have that right to speak up, right? So I fully hope that people do this and then turn around and use the education to learn more. So I like to know the true account of someone that was actually there. And so being able to hear that, the biggest thing that is being said to me is, well, Tracy, I don't understand, because anybody there should have known what it was, or like, how does it get on that building? And I said, I don't know, what do you give for an answer to that?
Well, it was lack of planning, lack of security. You know, some things that stood out to me is even as they were, you know, getting Trump up to get him off the stage, they didn't keep his head and chest covered. I mean, you could see his whole torso. Two of the agents, I guess, are DEI hires. Nothing against them personally, but they were about 5'4" women. You know, they come up to about his armpit. They couldn't shield him if they had to. They were too short. You know, Trump's about 6'2" or 3", probably. I don't know, somewhere right in there, maybe 6'4". Those agents need to be at least as tall as he is if they're going to shield him. So I thought that was very odd, and I noticed that right off as I got there, and because there's about 8 of those Secret Service people there, and I thought, well, what are these, you know, what are these 2 short people doing there? How are they going to shield him if he needs his shield? They can't, you know, they don't even come up to his, you know, his armpits. They're too short. And sure enough, you can see a picture of one of them as Trump is, you know, putting his fist pump in the air. And one of those agents only comes up about his chest. I mean, she's just not tall enough to do the job. Nothing against her. She can't help it. Right. But they should have had a taller person assigned as a protective detail.
I agree. The other thing that came to me, and I won't say where, we don't give up our sources, but because we want to have all the information that we can, and we also want to be as kind as we possibly can be. There is no reason to be ugly. We've lost too many people. Life is too short. We have to do our homework, as I would tell my children. It's very important. And I guess, you know, the comment that I gave was, as well, the one thing that came at me was the lack of Secret Service based on what he would need. He didn't get to have that because there was a lot going on. So with everything going on, if you paid attention, like you mentioned, he could not campaign. And you know, you've got people like you and other people just out there trying to campaign. The lack of security based on who might need this and where should have been a decision that I don't care who you are, in what seat. Listen, we still protect people. So we're still going to give the right service and the right amount. So that's my comment back was, you know, I really felt like that was lacking. So I'm glad that you did notice that too. I mean, that was the number one thing that I said, you know, the number one thing that I have is that right there. I mean, you can see that. And then, of course, you know, I'm not going to go down the rabbit holes as far as how did this person get on a building and nobody sees it. We'd be here all night, and I know we can't do that. So
right. Right.
What is your response? How does someone get up on a building like that and everybody's there? And listen, I know my individuals who are in an office here who take care of their people, who take care of the fallen, our active duty, our first responders, and your neighbor, the ranch. You are very involved in the community and care about the people.
Well, there's plenty of blame to go around. There's a lack of communication between the Secret Service and the police department and the sheriff's department. They didn't communicate. There was no pre-planning meeting. The whole thing was just ill-advised. I mean, it was just not something that you expect from the Secret Service. Usually, those guys are, double, triple, and quadruple check everything and have everything quadruple covered. And this was just, it was almost unreal, the lack of planning and preparation that went into the whole event. Of course, the agency head resigned. I'm sure she was, saw she's going to get fired if she didn't hurry up and resign. We saw her, interviewed by the committee. She didn't have any answers. Couldn't give. No, I don't think she gave one responsive answer to any of the questions she was asked. So she was oblivious. She had no clue as to what or how to run one of these operations. So, as elected official, Trace, I'll say this, and then I'm going to have to go. But
Yes.
as elected official, I can have a security detail. As a statewide elected official, I can have a security detail, and the governor does, the lieutenant governor does, the attorney general does. But I've never had one. I just, I think it's a waste of taxpayer money. But it's always on my mind when I go somewhere to a public venue where I'm speaking. Usually, I check out, make a mental note of where all the exits are. I scan the crowd several times, see if there's any, suspicious people in the crowd. I'm always armed and I'm always ready, but nothing ever happens. It never happens. This day it happened. I don't know how many Trump rallies I've been to, and I wasn't armed that day. Obviously, I couldn't get through into the rally if I'd taken
Exactly.
my weapon with me. It's a good thing because my first reaction was I grabbed for it. If I'd have had it and pulled it out, I'd probably look like Swiss cheese. They'd have filled me so many holes if I pulled out a pistol. But they would have shot and asked questions later. So I'm glad. This is one time I'm glad I didn't have it, and it was a good thing because I had no business, but brandishing a weapon in that situation. So anyway, that's I just thought I'd throw that in.
I pulled up that picture with the arm. Let's go from here because it is about the people. I really want our individuals to understand that voting, where we're getting down to the wire here. What would you like to tell them? How would you like to let them know? And I also want them to know, please, that we do have, it is called gasandgroceries.us. Again, gasandgroceries.us. And that is what's been going around to try to help the people because the gas and grocery prices are just unbelievable. What would you like to say?
An item. Well, I just want to say that when you go to gasandgroceries.us, there is a place on there where you can put in your zip code, your name and address. And I don't know what you call it. I call it a widget. I don't know what the proper name is, but it will tell you how much all these different items have gone up under the Bidenomics, the Harris-Biden administration. It'll tell you how much your groceries have gone up, your gas has gone up, your utilities, your insurance, the interest rate's gone up, the coffee, eggs, the whole deal. And so it's pretty interesting just to go in there. And if you don't do anything else, plug that's just 4 or 5 pieces of information, and then it'll email you your gas and groceries report, which is cool. If anybody gets that report, they're probably not voting for Harris. They're probably voting for Trump when they see what the Biden administration has done to our economy and to the average working man. So, thank you. That's all I was going to.
That's right. And Sid, the last thing I have is the VP that they are picking comment?
I don't know much about him, but what I've seen and what I've researched, he's just as liberal as she is. He's way out there. You know, he's DEI. He's woke. You know, he put tampons in boys' bathrooms. I mean, you can't get more woke than that. I don't know what else you could do to, top that. He's, it's, I don't know. Don't get me started. He's
Okay, I
terrible.
won't. In all
Terrible.
fairness, what about the VP that Trump has picked?
You know, I like J.D. Vance. I haven't met him yet, but I have studied him. Actually, I've studied him a lot more than because I've had more time to.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a self-made man. He's certainly no hillbilly. He kind of comes across, in his early days as that. But he's very well educated. He's obviously very articulate. He's done,
Yeah.
A lot of interviews, and no one stumped him, and he answers the questions correctly and honestly, and in a manner where he doesn't speak over people's head. I mean, he's not that intellectual. He's a down-to-earth kind of guy, and raised by his grandmother. He's got a good story. Hillbilly Elegy is, if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, I've done that.
Amazing.
So having a little deeper meaning or insight into his life.
Sir, I'm glad you said that. So are you telling me that Hillbilly Elegy, which I know a lot about, but there's a lot of people that listen, or we have our viewers. Are you telling me that the VP that is being picked, that is the story? It is JD.
Yes, that's the story of J.D. Vance. Is a hillbilly.
Yeah.
He wrote it, actually. He wrote the
Yes.
book and then sold the rights to the movie. So
Yes.
before he was ever elected, I mean, he wasn't
Yeah.
even in politics at that time.
That's right. And he's a Marine.
That's
So
correct.
we have to bring that up too. You know that on this show, I'm a mother of a fallen soldier. I got a border agent that has been killed. I can definitely, I go and I do legislation, and everybody knows this. We've got a lot going on, and it has, do your homework. You got to vote. How many days do we have left, Sid?
I think it's 69 or 70. I think it's 70.
Yes.
I'm not positive on that, but I think it's 70 days. And, it's probably 50 days to early voting. That's even more scary when you think about when you can start to vote. It's like 50 days.
Less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months, early voting starts.
Yeah. So, I know that your time is very valuable. Everyone stick by with the show. We do have more coming next week. Commissioner, we have all sorts of stuff going on. I will get you. I know that there are so many people that are just phenomenally, literally have talked to your staff with me and just worked on so much and really want to get you into an area of in what I'll say as part of my broadcast team. Would like to get you somewhere that we've had General Flynn, we've had a few people. And you know what I'll do is I know you got a lot going on, but I don't usually say exactly where I'm at, but when I'm at the Capitol and I know you're there, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll come down and we'll do it. Like I'll get you in there and we're going to do, kind of like you're doing an old school the campaign trail on the bus. Perfect.
Okay.
This area that I have found of a community, talk about patriots. But sir, it's been wonderful having you. I know your time is valuable. It is always great to see you. You have always reserved the last Wednesday, and you are free to go because I know better than to keep you. So thank you for watching out for us all. And the two-step fact is how I know you, because I've had a son. There's a border agent. Too many people. We should not be losing. So that and we the people. And I know that our Texans that I know, they definitely know who you are. So you're not just the man for Trump. You're the man in Texas. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire. Goodbye. Thank you. I'll let them know about gas and groceries. Please stay tuned. We do have more for you as Mr. Sid Miller, our Texas Agricultural Commissioner. He's on a campaign trail. He is doing so much. We have a guest coming in here, and what we'd like to do is get some more of that information for you. So, yes, what that was is that was Hillbilly Elegy. I don't know if any of you have watched that. You should watch that movie and read the book, or actually look at the true story and just get the facts. I state a disclaimer because I am the mother of a fallen soldier. There's a border agent and Marine that is gone, killed. And my stories are not as public, except for legislation that I work on. Now, I'm a mother. That's what I am. And they call us Gold Star. It's not a sticker. What it is that as an active duty in the line of duty, I no longer have my son. And, I say be careful here because you don't know the full truth. And I can't really get into it right now. I'm not going to do that. Eventually, I will. But working in legislation is not easy. And what I found out is, we are all people. You need to just walk in there, get in touch with someone in your area, your political offices. You can do the same. Go right in. I mean, we vote, we do what we need to do. You pay your taxes. This is what it's there for. Those that have served, those are the families left. We don't have them anymore. And we still have our active duty serving, and we still have our veterans. We still have our first responders and those patriots that are out there. And, I don't want to get into what side of this fence are you on. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you really quick. I know where I'm at, and I am a mother. I know where my faith is. And Patriots Inside the Wire will tell you that losing children, losing almost every family member because of, land being taken, whether it's the border and things that are happening there. And I'm not going to get deep into that. But twostepback.com, you can check that out. But right now, check out gasandgroceries.us. And you will find by putting in your zip code more information. So we'd like to give you that. And I hope that tonight, by the true accounts, a very personal first account of tonight and what happened to the 45th president, and you're paying attention. And pay attention to everything. Like I tell my child, do your homework, be the CEO, go up, ask the questions, do not go based on someone else's information, someone else's thoughts. But don't let anyone be intimidating. Listen, we are all people. And from my heart to yours, I have to tell you, losing a child is not okay. I don't care who you are. We are people, and we have got to take care of each other. And that is what matters to me. So tonight, what we're going to do is bring in another Gold Star mother. And again, it's not a sticker. We have active duty sons serving our country to give you those rights, that Constitution that we the people have. Also a wife of an active duty serving currently in our military. And her name is Mrs. Mariah Moat. And I'm going to add her now to the stage. Mariah.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Welcome to the show. We pulled this off. We were able to get you. I mean, last minute. Ironically, if I showed you my mic, it's just like yours. It's so wonderful to see you. I wish I could hug you.
I know.
We are live. Not only that, we are live broadcasting. We are podcasting. We are on in multiple areas. So as we're talking here, what I'd like to do is make sure that we let those listeners and viewers understand, were you watching by chance? I just did a segment here tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire, and I still have it rolling. It's called gasandgroceries.us. You put in your zip code, and, I didn't know this until I had someone educate me. So informative, education, do your homework. But Mariah, the one thing you don't have up there, and tonight I have it abbreviated. A lot of people will not even know what that is. Thank you. I see Tree of Valor is like, oh my goodness. And Lexi, oh, Lexi, hello, Lexi. Lexi, the Tree of Valor, you have got to get with them. They will be on a lot more. This is how I met Mariah. Mariah, we should not have had to meet, though, under the circumstances that we met. And unfortunately, what do you say? Because Gold Star, well, that's like a sticker that kids might get. So if you see me put Gold Star Mom somewhere online, it's like, oh, I'm the best mom. This has happened to me. Or who do you think you are? And I'm like, whoa, okay. We've got to do some more educating. We need to update material that's out there across the board. And it's not anyone's fault. We are in a digital era. We have got to advance.
We're responsible to educate ourselves. Pardon me for interrupting you, Tracy. But I just gotta jump in. Yes, it is our responsibility. We have to educate ourselves. We have to be, I heard you guys talking earlier about like the woke community, but we kind of have to be woke. In some ways, we have to constantly be educating ourselves, right? And I think that it's important to know about gas and groceries, because those are like our two biggest bills in America, right?
Right. Yeah. And you have to have them. I mean, It's not like you can't not have it. So, I mean,
well, and I feel bad for the families that, because for like me, I have celiac, and I think about the families that have children who have celiac. A loaf of bread for me is $7 to $9 to get a gluten-free loaf of bread. And when a family is trying to, feed their children, and they're paying $7 for a loaf of bread, and they're sending their kids to school, we're all back to school time, and they're making these sandwiches. That's a lot of money for families.
It is. Trust me, I know. I still have one at home, thank God. And literally, look, that's where my faith is. And again, I always state, what works for you may not work for me, but what works for me is some of it's trial and error. Have I hit my head a few times? Of course I have. I'm human. I will always be very honest. I am not going to go with the flow just because, I need to understand, what we're doing here. Mariah, you're a Gold Star mother.
I am, Tracy. Definitely not a club that people want to be a part of. And, I do want to just be very clear and upfront right here, live for everybody. Yes, it is wrote very, very late dated in Congress. It has the verbiage from World War I, and it's talking about Gold Star families and KIA. But the Veterans Affairs and the military don't see it like that. My daughter-in-law and my grandson are recognized as Gold Star family. My daughter-in-law is a Gold Star spouse. My grandson is a Gold Star child. No, my son was not killed in action. My son, it was illness. My son passed from cancer. And I know you're a two-time cancer survivor. So I'm really honored to meet someone who has been able to just keep knocking that C word right out of the park.
Cancer sucks. That's what I say. It sucks.
If it had a face, I'd punch it.
Yeah, we are right now. They can see us. Can you please give us your son's name instead of me doing it?
Sure. Thank you. Yes, my son. I know they always like to get that, rank in there, and there is a rank. But my son, I named him Keith Bruce Richard. And we, military, they call him Specialist Keith Bruce Richard. And and I went to go on a segue there to tell you about the nonprofit, but I'll get there. I don't want to jump ahead too far.
Hey, Mariah, we've got a whole segment that's coming up with you here soon. So Everyone, I want you to know that Mariah actually will have a full episode, and you really want to stay tuned. But what we wanted to do was bring you some information, because I want you to know, Mariah, like, I'm not going to get too personal here. I'm not going to tell my own story. Losing more than one child, one is too many, but you have two. And to look at another mother in anything in life, I don't care what side you're on, I don't care what letters next to your name, I don't care what rank is there, I don't care who it is. I do actually. I care about the people. Mm-hmm. And we can't do this. This is tearing apart families, literally. And you're looking at two of them right now that have had. I've had a suicide, not myself, in my family that's happened. You mentioned cancer. Things that happen to the families, just people don't understand what happens when you actually are serving, two words, active duty, in the line of duty throughout the military. And remember, the military has its own, they police, they do everything within their community. So when you step outside of that, then you're stepping into the government's hands, which the military actually is defending and serving for the people. And I like to remind people of that for a reason. And it is because I don't understand how you can look at a mom and for any reason, get into any other subject than, you know what? It's awful. It's horrible. It sucks. I mean, I'm saying prayers. I am working on me in the best way that I know how, and the resources that I've gathered, and just put myself into the mode of making a difference. And what can I do to inform, educate, and make a difference? We've got to make some changes. We know that. Because everybody matters, right?
Right.
Like, why would our children not matter when they're serving our country, literally, and something happens? My son was actually killed on U.S. soil. He could survive being in a war in Iraq, heading to Afghanistan. And again, I'm not going to get into his personal story right now, but that's not okay. Like, and again, like, as a mom, please don't go there with me. I mean, it is painful. Why are we tearing apart people? There is no reason for it. We are all very informed. You can get a lot of information. And what I want to leave on that for me, and then I'll let you, is we've already suffered enough. Please just remember them all. Every single one matters. Everyone. And listen, the name of the show is for a reason. Patriots, because I don't do just military, but they are close because of children. And there's more than that, but it's ripped out my body. Literally. That's how I feel. It's not okay. I was talking with my younger son, and I said that, and he said, Mom, whatever you do, don't start doing that song. Everybody's doing it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And listen, with the siblings, number one for me, I am trying to stay so focused on our siblings, the brothers and sisters. What? You cannot go and tell me that they aren't allowed to be somewhere, or they aren't allowed to do this or that. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You understand this better than anyone else, right?
Yeah, I do, Tracy. And so we didn't even actually know we were a Gold Star family leading into our son's passing. We had no idea. Like, I mean, who asks those kinds of questions anyway when somebody's getting ready to pass? You just don't. We weren't even thinking, oh, are we going to be a Gold Star family now? Like it wasn't our thoughts, you know?
No.
And it wasn't until at our son's funeral when they gave us those pins. And I have a picture of me putting my oldest son's pin on him for his little brother. Like, there's no words. And, you know, immediately I started joining organizations once I found out that we were a part of the Gold Star family, the family that nobody wants to join. And that's literally how we were introduced. That's how we were introduced at the funeral. And it was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, we were blown away. There was so much going on, you do know. So there's funerals, there's everything, right? And so you have all this going on, and you're like, okay, it's just one of the other things that you hear and you're given, and you kind of know there's some honor there, but you really don't understand it in the beginning, right? And then so my husband and I were like, oh, so we're Gold Star family, and my husband's active duty. And thank you for mentioning that. I really appreciate my husband's service and all that he's
I was
been
going to say
doing.
thank you for his service. Definitely. I mean, listen, as I listen to you, you're a wife of someone still serving. Your son is no longer here. You've got a sibling. I have been screaming it from the rooftops about, the siblings.
Yep.
Got to get this figured out.
Yep.
And then it was ironic how I met you. And again, I have to give a shout out to the Tree of Valor. When patriots are out there and they want to support us, and they're doing everything they can, and they haven't even lost their child serving or anything. Actually, they had a child that came home, so they do know what they're doing. They've worked around military, and then I like to say I'm backing up here, because Patriots is in here for a reason, because first responders,
Yes.
the people too. I mean, we cannot do this to each other. This is just not okay.
No.
I mean, those are my words. And, even my son right now, I've only attended, because there aren't many things that. Now, if you're married and you're in the service as a wife and have kids and all, a lot of people, I don't know what you're going to say, but they might say, well, they have programs, they have benefits, they have this, they have that, they take good care. And I'd say, what about the families? Do you know how young that they join and then leave? Nobody's thinking about that. They aren't even old enough to drink legally. And I got a kid in Iraq.
Yep.
Like, how can that, that's not, as a mother, that sent me on a path with opening organizations and getting involved.
Yep.
A lot more than on the side I'm in now. Whole different world. And you're exactly right. I actually did know only because, I got out there in the community and I was working in different things. And I was at an event and a lady walked up and, I knew I had done a funeral for a mother and who was just so upset. And I remember turning and looking and going, listen, don't ever let it be me. But if it's me, I won't be okay. Don't ever let me be alone. Make sure that my youngest is okay. I have to make sure my other kids are okay.
Yep.
So there's just a lot that you have to do. So one day, we met in an interesting way, a horrible reason, but an interesting way. And that is because Mariah is someone that, if you want to go up against, be my guest, but you're definitely gonna understand real quick that you need to get your information all in order, because you need to stand down, because this is not okay. And those are my words, Mariah. And what would you like to close with on that? Because I do want to get to what's going to happen next week, so that we can make sure that people understand things when it comes to, I have had I raised my little brother. I mean, he played with my son. I remember them wrestling, and like Adam's first scar I got one to his here. And he was like, "Oh my goodness, I hurt him." And I'm like, "It's okay. We're going to the emergency room." That's the first time, he's all stitched up. He was my, they like to wrestle around. And it's not okay that he's not here either. I'm like,
Right.
and it's not just him. I'm not going to keep going. But what I'm saying is suicide is a subject that we've got to get more. And look, I have seen there are some hardworking people that have made that happen, but there's a whole nother area, and it's in the 70% range that active duty are no longer here. And why aren't they here? Nobody's understanding that it's not about wanting to be a part of something that's that group or that title is what I should say. I don't want it. Never did I want that. You don't want it either. Anyone that's out there listening, that means your child is gone, or if it's a wife, listen, it's just not okay. I'm sorry. And I am someone that's going to go, you know what? We have got to get with the times. This is 2024. There is no reason in this digital era that we cannot, World War I, let's keep our history. Let's understand we have got to move along and understand that we've got to update some information so that even civilians, patriots, everyone out there right now, you're listening, paying attention. I know it's not okay to lose a child, but you don't understand unless you're in it that just don't do it.
Yeah.
So
I have to say that, one of the things that I really like about the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors is that Bonnie Carroll and her 501c4, apologies. She has a 501c3, the Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, and then a 501c4 legislative board. And she was just presenting this at Capitol Hill, not very many weeks ago. And they were in there presenting that this needs to be reworded. It needs to be changed. And, some people said, oh, they're just trying to get like a participation medal. And that hurt so bad when I saw that from a Gold Star family that was a KIA family. And, I have to say that I joined organizations that were very open, and they didn't have those kinds of separations. And what that verbiage is that were they active duty? Were they serving? And, if they were serving, did they pass while, serving? It doesn't mean that they had to be somewhere in action. It doesn't matter the circumstance of death is what I'm getting at. It doesn't matter the circumstance of death. Were they actively serving? Did they sign up to serve their country? Oh, they did? Were they actively serving? They were? Okay. And then they passed. I don't care if you've had a car accident or, heaven forbid, a suicide. And I'm sorry, I do know a lot of suicide families that are Gold Star families, and I'm not going to tell them they're not a Gold Star family. I went to bat for one family at an SOS parents meeting, and they had actually told this mother, because I was talking about Gold Star family, and she finally at the end of the meeting that night was like, I keep hearing you say Gold Star family. What is that? And I'm like, oh, our children passed while serving, and so we're a Gold Star family. That's why we have survivor outreach services. And she's like, oh, and the MFLAC worker put her hand on that lady's knee and said, oh, but you're not a Gold Star family. Your child died from suicide. My jaw dropped. That is not how they do it at Joint Base Lewis McChord with their survivor outreach service. That is not what they say. Absolutely not. So when we PCS'd in September and was welcomed over there at Fort Liberty, I was horrified that they're saying this to Gold Star families. I was like, what are you doing? And so, and I'm very vocal. I sometimes am not, and I sometimes am. I choose when to be vocal. There's a time and a place, right? And
Right.
so, yeah, for sure. I've dealt with or not dealt, but I've worked with Senator Ted Budd on a few issues. I've worked with Congressman Richard Hudson on a few issues for veterans and military, and I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to go and support at Capitol Hill to change the Gold Star family wording in Congress, because there's no reason why the VA is going to be paying a Gold Star family that isn't a real Gold Star family. That needs to be changed. It's not a participation medal. It is not that we want to be included in a family. We were told we were Gold Star family. And don't come to our funerals of our children and tell us, hey, you are a Gold Star family, and put pins on us. And then these families to come and disrespect us like that. Like my son would roll over in his grave. My husband's still actively serving. My husband has been serving a soft community, as now he's, with 82nd. But he joined for the same reasons my son joined, for his sister on his right and his brother on his left. And that is how it is. They join for these people that they serve with. And they are not going to say, oh, well, my buddy hung himself, so his family shouldn't be considered. Sorry, that was really blunt. I shouldn't have said it like that. Really mean no offense to anybody who's lost their child in that manner, because I've been the one that my child luckily did not pass when he hung himself, but then a few months later was diagnosed with brain cancer.
Wait. So as your husband's serving active duty right now, you're telling me that you've had someone actually say to you, like literally,
many times.
This.
Yeah. I've had it happen to me at events. I've had people turn on me on social media repeatedly. I've had families reach out to me and tell me how dare I, and that I'm disgusting. And, it's very, very bad out there. And I think that people who are saying, no, I don't want to make any change to the law because are the way that Congress has it wrote because I don't want to let everybody have a participation badge. They really need to understand that they're actually standing against us when they say those things. They're standing against us by burying their head in the sand and not addressing the issue. They are continuing this problem. I'm sorry. I'm very blunt.
No, don't be sorry. Because you know what? When you've got a child that's serving and they're not here, and you've still got a husband that's serving active duty, and you've got someone that comes to your face and says that. And I say the same thing. I'm like, do not engage in approved behavior right in front of you that you know is not okay. If you don't speak up, you're part of the problem. I mean, you cannot tell me that it is okay to do this. It is not okay. I'm sorry. I can't. If I had been there, Mariah, and I have been somewhere that is someone and I'm not going to get into the story, but the reason that we met is because I was somewhere setting up, doing something, and they gave me a call and talked and said, we can't honor. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't? Who's saying you can't? Because I'm sorry, but you can. And nobody's going to tell me I can't honor my own child. Like, this is unbelievable. People don't understand what happens. Listen, losing a child. Now, I've lost siblings, parents, uncles, aunts, cousins, best friends, a sister just recently, very recent, and you know that. And I had them say, let's cancel the show. And I said, no, we need to do this. And I'm going to say her name, Laura Free, single mom, everything going on you can imagine. Who do you think was the first person that rushed to my side? I had just had cancer surgery, and thank God I got to see him, and I'll get into a story one day. Right there at my bedside would make me laugh no matter what was going on. And then I want them to hear your laugh eventually. So I'm so glad that we're going to be working on other things. We have so much, and I don't want to get into that right now. But what I do want to do, Mariah, is tell you that I am so sorry that that is your experience. And,
Not mine, not just mine, though. That's
No,
the thing about it is like, I mean, I'm talking one of these mothers, she has an amazing organization for cardiac arrest. Her son died while out rucking with his unit stateside, and had a cardiac arrest. And she now has a nonprofit organization for military, so a veteran service organization. And she's been at the Capitol changing laws. And that's why they're now doing heart stress tests and stuff for the military service members who are coming in. She had passed it originally. She had got it through at the Capitol, that House bill for officers. And she was like, but that's not the end of my fight. I want to make sure that's for all military, not just our officers. This is, this needs to be for everybody. And so she absolutely has taken that stand. She has went to DC and has made her petition and has changed these laws. And, her law for the enlisted has just finally went through and been signed into law. I don't remember. I think it might have been this year even, or maybe the end of last year.
And I wonder if we're thinking of the same person, but so this would be common knowledge. What organization are you talking about? Well, who went and was actually successful? I do have
Lori Finlayson. She's a Gold Star mother.
Okay.
Her son David. Yep. And I try to always honor the Gold Star families by remembering their child or their spouse's name, because people die twice: when they pass and when people quit saying their name.
Right. Never forget. Always say their name. I have, you're talking about heart. The reason I said that I wanted to.
Yes, Lion Heart Foundation. Yes,
Lion Heart Foundation. So I am working with a mother right now whose son, the whole heart area. And then there's a doctor that I have that I was able to reach to. So there is a private collective group that does work on a lot of different things. Just listen, I don't get paid to be here with you right now. Like, this has been something that is going to be my mission. Like, it's something that people need to be aware of, and it's only to educate, update. And you know what? We have to let them see a true story, because sometimes you can't understand it because we're living it, right?
Right.
And until you see what it's doing and what's happening, you don't understand that it's not. Like, someone actually will do this to you. I cannot get into mine, but I'm glad you brought that up. So Joey Lenz is one of those when you talked about the heart, and that's why I wanted to know that. So I'm saying his name, and I know there's so many Gold Star families, and I want to be able to say all their names. But what I need you to do is to definitely reach out to me. You've got to go to patriotsinsidethewire.com, fill it out. It will go to the broadcast. I do not go take your picture from a social media site or your information. I don't do that. And you shouldn't do mine in the obituary either, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not what happened. It's not like everything's in there. It's a very pleasing. Yes, thank you. But if you
tactful, dang it.
Yeah, well, I'm not very PC, so I'm trying to be. I'm very organic, and I can roll with this. And so, again, I want to say it's Survivor Outreach Services. I have had nothing but wonderful experiences by having them work with me when I was active duty as a mother, which they call Blue Star. And I'm not talking about an organization here, folks. I'm talking about people. And then I'm talking about, then they change it out. And it's like, you're a gold star now. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't want to be. Like, I don't want it. Like, please, just
I have my
there's
child back.
so much that's going on. It's a moving machine. It's the military. You don't have a minute. It's not like you're going in. It's not. You've got to just go, and here's your officer, and here's what we're doing, and this is where we're going, and this is what's going on. And I'm like, oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Overwhelming. And there is a story in each one of us that's different. There's a journey that's different. So I like to say, hold on here. We don't do this. And I even teach my children, and look, and people have been around and they've seen my younger son, he's very wise for his age. He's 6'3". You wouldn't think he just turned 15. So the siblings matter. And I've been working on sibling scholarship. I am trying to just get out there and just give information and not get into because I'm not going to do to someone else what I know has been tearing apart other people.
Right.
So again, I won't get into mine, but I don't like that you went there, but I do because I don't want you to go through more. Right. And a lot of people can't.
Well, and it's not even about me. It's about the siblings. It's about the other parents. It's about the other families, like I'm strong. I'm pretty tough. I'm a tough woman. I'm a military spouse, tough woman. But to hear that come to me, I know that's going to other people. I've had people in our organization come to me. We just had a summer soiree, and I had Gold Star families contacting me, asking me if it was all right if they attended because of, their partner passed from suicide. Right. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome to be here. We accept you, open arms, 100%. I love you guys. I accept you, and I do that with my families, or not with my families. That sounded kind of possessive, but I am kind of possessive because dang it, I'm kind of a mother bear. You take on my families, I'm going to come and take you on. I'm just going to do it. And sure, I know I showed my fist, but
I've been doing it too.
I'm going to go above your head. I'm going to be tactful. I'm going to go where I need to go to get it handled. That is how I do it.
That's, we had someone that was saying for a very long time, they have a statement up right here that every week, and I agree with them because I have the same phone calls. And I put myself in that position for a reason because I had to go work on things legislatively. Alongside that, then I get pulled into this whole other world. And I'm like, my goodness, listen, y'all, I have never been to anything except Gold Star Parents Retreat and had anything but the most wonderful, accepting, loving, caring people. Yeah. Now, I am going to tell you, there are Blue Star moms that, when I said I need people to start stopping this by speaking up, when you hear something, you're right there. That's not okay. Don't be a part of this. And I'm not even saying anything about me. What I'm saying is I actually am so thrilled to be around the other families, their service members. I'm so proud because I want my youngest son. I want him to know why his brother went in. What are we doing here? Why, okay, my brother, I get it. He's very, very smart, but why aren't the people, where are the people, Mom? What's the deal? There is a Blue Star mom that cares out there and decides to step up somewhere. It may not be my story, but I'm going to say, man, that one person who's that mama bear like that really will make a difference, a world of difference. So I know that Bonnie Carroll started TAPS, and it's because I had an organization before my son was killed. And that group is still out there, and I'm always going to support active duty. I'm always going. every logo you can think of is in our brand, and it is because that is what we do. We take care of our own. We have branches, we have our first responders, we have Space Force, Patriots. There's just no reason at all that this needs to happen. And so, what I'd like to do real quick here with you is say, we got another comment here. Thank you. I mean, we have had wonderful, wonderful. Listen, here she is. Honoring Our Fallen is another organization that feels deeply for our Gold Star families. Her name is Laura, and I don't want to get her last name wrong. Herzog is a force to be reckoned with for families of the fallen. And what she's saying by families of the fallen, it is the Gold Star families of the fallen, because they were serving. And I need to know 2 words. And that's what I say to people. I say, I need to know 2 words. Oh my goodness. You've got to be kidding me. There he is. The Washington State Freedom Runner, Ty.
Yep, I see that.
Wait. He's in boot camp right now, y'all. I know what this is, and I'm not going to get into it, but not deep. But I'm going to tell you right now, this kid, since he was 6, has been running with.
I've been following him for a long time.
No, I know his family. And so since he was younger, he was getting on my groups. And like I told you, like I have a lot of different things that I do, a lot of areas, and I'm not getting into me, but I'm going to get into him. This kid does not miss a beat, does his push-ups. He honors all. I mean, all. And if a little kid has done this, now he's in boot camp, he's about to graduate, and I'm not going to say exactly where I'm at, but listen, I've had people go, why are you letting this kid take over your page? Why are you letting, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on, man. Like, I'll tell you what. And now everybody's like figuring it out. So it's like, okay, let me tell you. And I'll be happy to tell you. So I'm going to tell you why. Because this kid is so passionate to learn and honor and know the names and take the time. He did extra recordings before going to boot camp. And I'm not kidding. Like, I actually have the real personal story. I'm not going to go deep into it because I don't have permission yet. Guess where he's going to be soon. And I'm like, isn't it funny how things work out? It's like, I told them, don't mess with that kid. Do not. Absolutely. He stays right there in the group. Don't you dare. He actually adds wonderful content, information. Yep, I do know that. I do know that, sir. I just did not want to say it. It is his father. So while Ty is in boot camp,
that's what I thought. I was wondering.
He hid. No, I know for a fact. He hid that he was doing all these extra videos. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And now he will be less than an hour from me. Less than an hour from my door. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like so happy because it's like, yes, I love it. Like when I get to be back around active duty. And then my youngest one, like my son that's 15, it's like an older brother who's in the military this is why. And then we're looking for a flag for him to run. And he'll be around I'm just going to say Central Texas area. And that's what we're looking for so he can continue to run and honor. I'm putting that out there right now. Ty, keep going. Ty, your family is my family. And you know what? I know this for a fact because, yes, I'm not just on social media with someone like watching a video. I actually know the family.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I have a lot more coming, and I am so unbelievably delighted to see that. Oh my goodness, like active duty person. This is the second one. I'm like, and I've got a mom right now, her son's serving, and every time I get to hear, all the stuff that's going on and all of this, the good things, I'm like, this is why I need him to see it and live it and be a part of it, a part of the community. So I'm just so excited. This kid I keep saying kid because remember, kids join the military when they hit a certain age and they can go to war, but they can't drink and they can't do this. And I'm like, oh my goodness. He's not a kid. Well, look, I'm a mama bear too. So I'm going to be like that. I'm going to say I'm not old enough, but I'll say I'm his big sister. I'm his aunt, whatever it is that I am supposed to be. This was meant to be. So the Washington State Freedom Runner will be graduating from boot camp soon. We'll have more on that. But what we're going to do right now is also Mariah. Mariah will be on an episode in September coming up here soon. So you're going to learn more about what she does and what she's involved with, literally. And then Mariah's here tonight to tell you about someone that's coming on next week. And Mariah, the way that we met was because something happened and I'm like, what? And who? And this is how it happens. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so I really wish that I had known for TAPS. And so I will be going to something soon. And I do absolutely love them. I have sat up at events literally as an organization where they're at, and I've been around them. I'm not far from Fort Hood either. I'm around several military bases. Are there bad things that happen there? Yes, but there's bad things that happen in the world everywhere, right? I mean, yes. Do we need to make changes? Yes. And what does that take? Mama bears, dads, brothers, sisters. So I always say Gold Star families. Like I really, 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 that's why that's abbreviated. I'm like, I really say families. I'm really big on the siblings and still getting my own children, especially my younger son, acclimated to understanding this. So I can't imagine being the wife of someone still serving and having that happen. Mariah, I don't know how your husband can actually still not.
He still serves the American people, and they all have an opinion, and that's okay. That's why he serves. Is so
that's right. And I agree.
But it doesn't mean you have to shame people. It doesn't mean you have to be dirty. You don't have to be mean. You can be kind to people. You can still love on people. And I promise you, if your child passed, they probably would want to honor the fallen service member who passed stateside as well. They're not because they're serving because of the people on their sides. They're not serving, you know what I mean? So
yes.
I really, honestly, I don't let it affect me too much. I try to just let it roll off. But when they attacked, when this person attacked some of my families that are in our organization, that really, it struck a nerve in me. And so when that happened, I stood up to her very tactfully. And anyways, I don't want to go into all of that. I don't really want to go into all of that. But I just
tell them how you met me.
Yeah, but I just wanted to hit it on the head, though, that if you want to make changes in America or in your community, you got to change. You got to start by changing and joining these legislative boards, right? Get on these legislative boards, write new house bills and present them, bring them, and that is how we make the America that we want to live in. The communities that we want to live in. We are responsible for that. And Tracy, I think I told you yesterday, one of my biggest values is discernment, or not discernment. That's funny. That is one of my superpowers. Oh my gosh, totally drawing a blank here. What did I tell you yesterday? Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
I mean, I wanted to know how I met you. How did I meet you?
Oh, we met through Lori, through the Tree of Valor.
Right, but why?
Because of the person who attacked us and came after us, for not being.
When you say us, do you mean it was actually a mom?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
got a phone
and
call.
attacked some of the families in the Gold Star families of North Carolina, and reached out to some of those family members, and has been very cruel. And I have people that I'm bringing to that arena to spotlight this, because this is exactly why I stand up and advocate for Gold Star families, military veterans, and first responders. And, you know, and the reason why we cover first responders too under that same umbrella is because we have to highlight that. They are the ones out there. They are the patriots of America. They're out there making sure that we're safe here stateside. Well, you know, yeah.
So, Mariah, I was one of those mothers, wasn't I?
Yeah.
That's why I got a phone call. And I'm like, it always starts with a phone call. And I'm like, uh-oh, why is someone calling
You and
me
I
at this
both.
time?
Yeah, we were definitely.
And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh gosh, not again.
Right?
Okay, here we go. But what's interesting is I actually do know someone that we both know very, very, very well. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to pull her into this conversation. But I'm going to tell you that they picked up the phone immediately, and they had already told me like a few months back. But you know, life, there's been a lot going on, and I can't, like, between health and different things, and I'm focusing on my son. There's a lot going on that I just can't go there. But when I got that phone call, I was like, are you, like, seriously? Like, I mean, but this person knew. They watched me literally go up to them and say, no, because I'm here. And if you don't do it, then, like, I have a problem with that. So, but I got along. I've always got along with this person immediately. It was like we'd known each other forever. It was just amazing. And then come to find out, she had sent your information to me. I don't know if I was in session. I don't know. But I have had recent things even happening. And we just hadn't connected yet. But they've been like, there is someone that you have got to meet. Because if there is someone that actually, when you talk about the words you say, like mama bear and do it, and it's not okay. And siblings, like, come on now, stop. You better stop. Even the veterans, the active duty members are always like just traumatized. They're like, there is no way this is really happening. Please tell me it's
Right?
not true.
They don't believe it's happening. That's
No.
why I want to shine the spotlight in it. And I have to be very careful and choose this, right? You and I spoke
Right.
about this yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
how do we do this? How can we be tactful? How can we address this without ignoring it? And the only reason why you and I, Tracy, decided not to ignore it is because you and I are tough. Sure. Yeah, we can take those attacks. But when you start going after other Gold Star family members, I'm gonna be on you. You know what I mean? It's just not okay. And
It's not okay.
it's not a political thing. This is the thing that gets me so wild, is that people try to make this political. It is an American thing. This is
It's
an
a people
American thing. That
It's a
we are
people.
yeah.
It's people. Come on now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a heart inside them, right? Like, come on now. Do I really need to go back through your basic kindness matters, okay?
Hey, my mom told me if I don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I thought most mothers taught their children that. So why are they even speaking if they don't have anything nice to say?
You know, well, what I do say is I agree with you, but I also have to step back and go, well, if it's another mother that's lost hers, they maybe just are in a journey that they don't understand truly what is happening. And I really believe that by encasing a certain group within a category like that, that's the problem. You cannot do for one that you're not going to do for the other. Like, that's an oxymoron, number one, right? Like, so we're live, people can see us, and we are a podcast. So I want to make sure they understand as we're talking about this, the different people, the different websites. When we say Gold Star, be careful when you Google this. Gold Star families, Gold Star moms, because all kinds of information comes up.
Yep.
And I tell you right now, 2 words, active duty. And you don't need to go any further. And I take this from someone out there who does a lot of work, and it's Memories of Honor. And I do like to highlight the ones that are like, you know what? Like, we honor them all, all categories. Like, this is not acceptable. This is not okay. The service members, we have got to do a better job. We have got to do this. And our first responders. But again, I go back to people like from day one, like, come on. Like, I wear, like, there's feathers on me for, like, there's a whole different areas about me as to why I do it and the reasons. And, you know, I was always brought into this world having to fight. It's not like I was given things. Like, a lot of people come into a nice, happy home. Well, I have a unique, untold situation that you don't want to be in. And there was no other choice. I didn't know any other way. It was, you better get up and do something, because I'm sorry, you're not going to make it. You're not going to survive. Like, there is no way to survive. It was like a war in itself. And I'm like, in our own country. And I'm like, ugh. Like, I'm trying to, like, just stop. And I need you to, like, back up a minute and let's get some true stories going out there. And that's what led me to going, you know what? And thank you to the production team too. We had people that just, oh my gosh, it's not just me. There were people that just hustled unbelievably, you know, with the production team of JMT. We have a heroes group that does all sorts of things. And it's not just a group, but I don't really want to get into where that is right now. But we are with an actual broadcast crew. And again, like, there's a lot coming, but oh my goodness, the person that wanted us to connect a while back, the timing just, you know, of when that was just wasn't meant to be. But my goodness, could the timing be any better right now? Because there is an opportunity. And I like to do co-hosting because I don't want the focus on me. I really want it on the people, and I need them to understand, you know, the different things. I also want the resources that are out there. There's so many things that we have to get into that aren't even military, and it's just back to the basics. So it's like steps. Let's take these steps. It's a journey. You know, some people understand the 12-step program for a reason that's out there. And that's not me, but I understand it because of a world I grew up in. But where are those steps? Where are your steps that you're taking to make sure that you're doing the work that we need to do to take care of our people? Now, I made that decision. I didn't get a choice, actually, even in my son. So, look, I could lay down and cry and then never get up. Or am I going to get up and fight? And honestly, if I hadn't, I mean, nobody would have, nothing. I mean, nothing would have mattered. Nothing would have changed. Nothing that was happening. I mean, more people would be gone. So what I did as far as making policies and changes, even with our military at the bases, is very, very important. They will work with you. It's ironic. People think, oh, no, you can't go to that person. I'm like, why? They're a person. They wear clothes just like I do. They get dressed just like I do. They eat. They function as a human, right? Why can't I? Why can't you go to them? I've never understood that. So I'm like, hey, I don't care what your title is. I don't care about that. I'm going to come to you and we're going to have a talk. I just didn't know that you're not supposed, like, you're not supposed to do it. But listen, truth be told is a damn fact. Like, you start getting the truth and then you find the true human beings behind that and you you show it. How can you possibly? And again, like we said, the percentages is in the 70% range of our active duty that are no longer here, that are serving active duty, and for multiple reasons, they should be here. And they should be honored, and we need to remember them. So I'll be damned if you're going to come at me. Like, I do not take that. So be careful. I want to make sure. Don't go Google this because there's still old information and there's a lot of work that still needs to be done to update it. I wish I had known she was at the Capitol because, listen, Bonnie Carroll runs TAPS. TAPS.org, everyone. It's 2 P's. TAPPS.org. Again, look that up. TAPS.org now has a 501c4. Bonnie Carroll, I'll have to get back in touch with her and remind her of how I know her. I was a Blue Star mom then, running a different organization, Military Moms of Texas. Now I've changed it to Military Moms of Texas, not just moms. And yes, it's in caps. Anyone that knows me knows that I use caps a lot. And I'm like, look, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying I'm working on so many different things. It takes a team. And so I say thank you to you and your team. Thank you to the team that tonight decided, listen, we do need to get Mariah in right now before, she doesn't have a whole lot of time in her schedule that we need to do this. So Mariah will be on a Wednesday around the 18th, September 18th. We'll have her and what she's doing in her organization. But I have some information and I'm so excited about it. So again, we are Gold Star moms. Sergeant two-step. Mine went by two-step for multiple reasons. And I'm like, I taught him how to do the two-step. Number one, stay away from certain girls. And then number two was his battle brothers and sisters were like, you're not saying that. You're going to say that because when you hit, like, boom, that second hit is like a weapon. Like, people are no longer here because you're such a fighting machine that they're out cold, like gone. Like and I'm really big into UFC. So like if I'm watching it, like I saw you doing your fist too. And I was like, so we're like, so on the bad guy side, yes, we're holding up our fist in a way that means, yes, we just want you to understand what we're saying here. It's not a political move. It is not about who or movement. It is about the people in our hearts and the emotions we're feeling at this moment right now, because we meet someone who goes, wait a minute, I found another one. I found another one, but I didn't find you. Someone else did. I got to give her credit, the Tree of Valor, Lori. And she found you. She found me because of something else. And I'm like, I did what you did with a recent situation. I was like, oh, no, just no. And I'm going to hold on a minute. Let me go do something. And okay, I'm going to make sure we get this right. So, and not that people are wrong. It's just that, why does it bother anybody? Stop it.
I think that we need to definitely, I think that there should be a Gold Star Family KIA Day, in America, to honor and recognize the ones who did lose their lives on the battlefield. That absolutely there should be some kind of different distinction.
There is.
Maybe, but and the lapel pins are different. So for the KIA, they got the
Purple Heart. There is actually. So
Purple Heart is if you were injured on the battlefield. Right.
But so if you're also killed, you are also ultimately the most honored that you could possibly do. Our country does a great job at that. What we don't do is remember that, wait a minute, they're not at a 9-to-5 desk job. When you go into the military, what are you doing? You're training nonstop. You're at war. You better be getting prepared. I know my journey.
You eat, sleep, and breathe together. The
family infantry
together. We get together on the weekends. This is what we do.
Go
and breathe.
You go in the desert. You're out of pocket. You can't get a hold of my child for a long time because he is at war, learning that when he's at war for real, it's always real. It's 24/7. It's the government. It is the military. It is all the time. We are actively on alert because when you take an oath, it is foreign and domestic. There you go. and active duty. Again, 2 words, 2 words. Let's stop this. It doesn't. No, kindness matters. 2 words. Human beings, 2 words. You know, the number 2, peace, you know, and I do mean it. I'm not some, listen, you know that I'm not like, I wasn't around in the 70s to do like the whole hippie thing. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is enough's enough. Kindness, but hey, yeah, speak up. 2 words again. Speak up. Get involved. I could keep
Yeah,
going.
I know we can do this all night. We could really do this all night. Like,
Hey, you really
some
want to hear
one-liners,
the
man.
truth? Did you really want the truth? Because if you really want the truth, all I got to do is say, find me that other one who's going to say, all right, I'm okay to talk. Like, listen, I'll do it. I'm going to stick with it too. I'm like going to do it. And listen, some can't, and that's okay too.
Yep.
Because in their journey, whatever works for them works. And it's like, you know, there's a lot going on, and you can't always be fighting, right? And not that I'm always fighting. I'm just always trying to figure out how to make it better. How do I make a difference? How to get involved in informative, educational, legislative, whatever. And yes, so I'm saying for everyone, whether it's one area, I kind of throw myself into all those areas. And this is why when you get the calls, it's because you're like, well, there is somebody actually who does this. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. I want to know who they are. And gosh, I wish I'd done that they did this. Going to the Capitol like that, I would have said, hold on, here's where you need to go and who and what organizations should you bring. Because it's really about the people. I'm just not okay with this, okay? Everybody, be nice. Knock it off. Like, it's not okay. I mean, I'm just going to start making my hats, my shirts, everything. And it's like everybody's like, oh, don't say that because of the song. Everybody's singing this song now with, and I'm not going to say the name of the singer, only because I don't have the rights to the music right now. But I'm like, no, it's not okay. I'm sorry. But for a different reason. So, look, what works for me may not work for someone else. Do I have my faith? Yes. Do I have my children that I got to keep going? Let's figure this out. Let's get up and make a change. Let's make a difference. I'm not a fighter. I am someone who just wants to say, hey, we matter too. Like,
you may not be a fighter, but I am a disruptor. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier. So I value disruption. It's my number one value. And it's funny that I came up with discernment because I actually am very good at discernment, but disruption. And it's not because I want to take on fights or that I want to challenge things, but it is about creating the America and the communities that we want to live in, right? I am not someone who's going to sit up there and complain all day long and not go do something about it. Like, that is why we have the freedom we have, is so we can go and do these House bills. Like, we have so much freedom in America. We can write our senators. We can write our Congress people. You know, I mean, shoot, you can get on the websites and send them emails. It's so simple. And I think American people do not realize that you can reach these people. They're going to respond. They have people.
I have another way, but on back channels, you and I will be connecting because people always say, where in the world and how do you end up finding certain guests, or whether it's they're coming on the show, the podcast, if it's singing. I have a lot of veterans that, you know, are in the singing area. What's medicinal for me? Water and music. And so aside from the others that I've already been talking about. So it's like I always have music on the show. And our last guest, what I'd like to do right now, Mariah, because we could like inform them all day long, every day through Wednesday, like the whole, like, listen, even my producer knows. When you met me and I was like, oh my goodness, like you wouldn't even imagine, like, it's like I'm part you and I'm part behind the scenes person who's always like very analytical and very like this. And I'm like, oh, he's going to get me, because today they had to jump through all sorts of things, because we actually are going to be doing a show next Wednesday, and you aren't able to be at that show. So you were like, and he could not join us tonight, but you
I'm
said,
having
you know what?
surgery that morning. I apologize. I really want to be there, but
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm going to be up for it that night.
No.
But thank you. Yes, I want to just do a huge shout out, because we're talking about a man that has really made a difference in the community. So we're talking about Enrique Ranger Rick Murillo, and he has the 9th annual Man 22 Suicide Awareness Run coming up on September 7th at Festival Park in Fayetteville. The showtime begins at 10 a.m. Jumping begins at 11. And what is super neat, and that I think that we have to get Ranger Rick and Ty together, because Ty's doing the push-ups, but Ranger Rick likes to take it one step further, right? Because being a part of that soft community, those Rangers, they like to take it one step further. Okay, sure, let's do the 22 push-ups, but now let's actually do this run too. We're going to go put in 2.2 miles, because that's a lot harder after 22 push-ups, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's great. I think or maybe it was the opposite way, but unfortunately I'm not going to be there. September 6th, he's going to be doing the Gold Star Families Dinner at Kraken Skulls in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Super excited about Chad, the business owner there. He's an amazing person. And then, Ranger Rick, he's just out there trying to bring awareness to the community about suicide. And he is just like you and I. He's not just there for the military and veterans, but he's there for first responders as well. And for the Gold Star families. That's why they're going to be doing a Gold Star Families Dinner the night before the run, to be able to, and that's a private dinner. If you don't have an invitation, you're not welcome to just show up. And so that is a private invitation for that. But then the run, of course, yes, everybody will be there on September 7th. There's a Gold Star Family escort at 8:30 in the morning. I've heard that there's like over 200 cars in that escort. There's fire trucks, there's police, sheriff's department, all leading this convoy essentially. And so I'm really excited about this and meeting Ranger Rick. And he's going to have organizations there. Mental health providers will be there actually on site, from what I'm hearing. And these organizations are going to be talking about the resources and services that they offer to help people who are struggling, right? And that's super important. I don't want to speak on Rick's behalf, because he'll be here next week, and he'll be Ranger Rick. Sorry.
Next Wednesday.
Yep. But please, everybody, check it out. The nonprofit organization is called Through Tragedy Comes Light.
Okay. Through Tragedy, again, comes light. Is that their website? ThroughTragedyComesLight.org?
Yep.
Okay. And as you're spelling this, because we do broadcast live, it's on podcast, and you mean it is THROUGH, your. So we're spelling it out for them, because I want to make sure they understand it. And ironically, I've got something scrolling here that if you're not watching us live and you're not with us right now and you're coming back, the first half of our story is in one area. The second half, we want to give you an intro to what's coming next week. And then we wanted you to be informed about something else that was going on. And then it was like just perfect timing. So production got put through a whole like, Tracy, what are you doing to us again? And I'm like, just hold on, I promise. Like this one, you're going to find that we are going to end up on a long journey path, long term. Like the whole plan is going to end up being like we are actually going to be repaid tenfold. like everything that we're doing is ironically going
We are definitely going to have a mini series, at least, of us doing some podcasts for a while.
We're going to have like so much that we were like on different areas. We're all like, so like your superpower is this, yours is this, yours is this. And so much relief too, to have that. So Ranger Rick will be on. We are on live on Wednesdays. You can watch us live, multiple channels. We broadcast live. If you do social media, it's very easy to find Facebook. Our YouTube is a TV channel. We have X. Again, that's the old Twitter. I always joking. I'm like, Twitter and MySpace has had a baby, and it's called X Spaces. There's like little spaces within there you can go and like do a podcast as well. So when I decided, no, I don't want to go work like at a station, I'm trying to still figure out what I want to do. I know where the moving needs to happen. So, but it's work, right? And it's like, you still got to get gas and groceries. Like we were talking about earlier. It's like, we still got to figure out how we're going to do everything else. It's a lot. So, I am not a 501c3 on purpose. So there's just a lot that has to get done. But Ranger Rick, I don't know if you all know him. He'll be here next Wednesday live. And let me tell you what, like, I mean, I knew about Ranger Rick, but I didn't really know Ranger Rick. And Mariah, you can tell them. And so I have a flyer up for those of you that will be listening and tuning into that side. I want you to know that I'm literally showing a flyer so the people that are viewing what days and what's going on. But if you tune in next Wednesday, but we're telling you right now because it's coming up. The actual event is on the 6th of September, and it is in North Carolina, and we want you to know about it. So it is a 9th annual Man 22 Suicide Awareness Run, and it is a Gold Star Families dinner, a Man 22 AR meet and greet. It is a Gold Star Families escort. There is so much going on there that when we were trying to hustle, Mariah, literally, and get information, production was like, what do you want to do? I was like, hold on. Like, let me back up a second here. And I'll explain this to you. Like, boom.
There you go. Yeah.
Boom. And then I got this one and I went, what? Hold on. Did you see my response?
Yes, I did. And I saw him go, what? What?
You're like, what's up? I said,
nonchalant.
I said, Ranger Hulk. And I was like, Ranger Hulk. Like, Ranger Hulk, which picture? I was like, actually, I like a few, just like we did with yours that is here. And then when they tune in for your full episode, that's going to be there. Like, that's there. So, but I was like, dude, Ranger Hulk? He's like, what are you talking about? Which pictures? I'm like, BDUs, camo. Yeah, come on now.
So
I'm like,
I think it's really interesting. At the run, he runs with his kit on. Yeah, his body armor. Like, and so like I just think that's so cool. And he actually did a call to action and was telling people like, you can come, you can walk, you can do whatever you want. But if you're a veteran and you don't have your body armor on, I'm gonna give you some crap. And I'm like, okay, this is Ranger Rick.
That is Ranger Rick, who will be with us.
Look at that. Thank you.
Yes. And so the Washington State,
beautiful day that looks like it was for them. And I cannot wait for next year. I will not schedule surgery a week before next year's event.
Well, our bodies go through a lot when there's the trauma that's happening. So we have to take care of our own. And I'm pulling up a picture right now, Mariah. And I think you may know about this picture, right? So for those of you who are listening, I just pulled up a picture. And in this picture, and because the mother's sitting here, I'm not going to say it. I would like for Mariah, if she wants to, and if you don't, then I will. But, and if you don't even want me to, I won't. But do you want to say who it is a picture of?
Yes. So this photo is me and my son at his graduation day.
Yeah.
And I was so excited. And I can see in this picture, I'm actually wearing my husband's Ranger shirt.
Reindeer.
And if anybody is part of that community, they will know the sun and the lightning bolt. They'll immediately notice. Oh, they'll know.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, there's a little reason why Ranger Rick and I hit it off right away is because we have a little bit of that in our family and our history. So yeah, so
Right.
our son is really was really proud of himself that day. My husband was actually deployed. I mean, imagine that. Yeah, my husband.
Right.
Yeah, my son actually joined because he wanted to spend his birthday with his dad during deployment because his dad had missed his dad. Well, we're a blended family, so it's his bonus dad, but his bonus dad had missed like 9 birthdays. And so he was like, no, I'm joining the military. My next birthday, I'm going to be with you, no matter if I'm stateside or not.
Right.
And so, yeah, but no, that's my son, Keith. He's such a handsome young man and so proud of himself right there. Yeah.
And he should be. I mean, I struggle. So see, I can do you all day long. Like I can be like, hey, let me pull and let me do this and I'll make sure of this. And I'm like, I struggle on my own. So I don't hide that part. I mean, it's pretty evident. But I definitely wanted to make sure that I pulled up a picture here. Keith, like everybody has their nicknames. So I'm like, listen, we already did this. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. But you have to say it out loud because I'm telling you, the production side, I say it all the time. They're like, it is not.
So
like,
your son's 2-step.
Right.
My son's saying is too easy.
Too easy. And I say that all the time.
And
they're
the
like,
family,
quit.
most of the family members have already went and got too easy tattoos everywhere. Like, yep, they've all went and done it. I haven't got mine yet. I'm waiting for my oldest son to finish his tattooing. He's learning to tattoo.
Oh, wow.
And my oldest son is going to do a tattoo in memory of my youngest son and of my daughter that we
Your
lost.
daughter,
this
yes.
February.
So yes, you also lost your daughter, and I just my heart.
That's why
just
siblings
like,
are so important. This is
Thank
why,
you.
because
I
my
don't
daughter
wanna-
struggled. My daughter
I
and my oldest son struggled so hard, and we actually launched our nonprofit organization because of siblings, because fathers and siblings, because I had an organization to join as a Gold Star mother. I had that organization for me to go and join. My husband and I did have tragedy assistance program for survivors, which is very open for families. I really, really want to give a huge shout out to the care that they have. They have a 24/7 hotline. They got me through the loss of my daughter when that happened, because they have made such a great warm connection with me that as soon as my daughter's emergency happened, I got on the phone with them and cried in the laundry room with them on the phone while the paramedics had my daughter. Like I cannot say enough about them. But so anyways, we launched our nonprofit organization because of the siblings. And I never, ever, ever thought that I would lose my daughter. Like, we launched before we lost our daughter. If that makes any sense. Like, we did it to hit the siblings before our 26-year-old daughter said goodbye to this world. Because we knew how important it was. And there's almost not even words to say, right, Tracy?
Mm-mm. No, it's very hard to make me speechless. Very, very hard. This will do it. This makes me speechless. But then I have to go, hold on. Breathe in. Step up. Go toe to toe. Take another breath. Check around. Make sure your people are okay. And then go do something about it.
Yeah,
Because-
exactly. So see, this is where when I got so offended when people were like, "Oh, you're just saying that you're a Gold Star mom because you want all the attention on you," and it's like, no, I'm really not trying to bring attention to me. I mean, look at me. I'm not even dressed up today. I don't even have anything. I've got my son's T-shirt on, keeping resilient, but I'm not even dressed
I like
up.
how you did that because you're
Yeah.
alive.
It's not about attention for me. This is about reaching the families. This is about reaching the siblings. This is about reaching the fathers and all of the families. So our nonprofit organization, well, we cover grandparents, we cover aunts, uncles, and the reason why is because my sister sits on our board. My sister is my son's aunt.
I just lost mine, I know. And then
Like,
I met you, and I
Her
was like,
his aunt is just as important as
She
the
matters.
mom.
of course she is. Like, I told you, the first person to run in my bed, like, I just lost her. And I was like, it's the same day that I had to get the call. Like, I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Let me take a deep breath because I'm actually going through something and I know what today is, but I'm also like having something. Nobody's going to even believe this. Listen, the kid that's in boot camp right now and his father's doing the work, I do have a personal connection to the actual family. I'm sitting there, I'm on a morning schedule now. But I am known for staying up. Like, I will roll. You were talking about someone else that you work with. I'm like, oh my goodness, let's not say his name right now. But you talk about wanting to get the footage and get it in there because you got to get it out. Like, hey, I will roll. And that's part of the production side where they're like, come on, man, let's and I'm like, no, I actually was up. This is what I do. And like the UFC fight was coming on a Saturday, and I like that. That's just one of my things. I don't, I love racing and the race cars. My grandfather did it, raced. He's in the Daytona 500. He served in the war for one of the first Normandy to arrive. We lost him way too young. Thank God he made it back. But hey, things happen when you serve over there that end up affecting you. And then you're no longer here. And that
Right.
C word again, that dang word, cancer sucks. I swear to you, I'm going to do a series on cancer. We're going to do a series on humor because I got to do something to keep my heart from going like rock hard. And like, I keep getting all these hits. And I'm like, okay, I can do it. Yeah. Earlier it was said Swiss cheese. And when they said that, I went, boy, do I know exactly what they're talking about? Yes, I do. I do feel like boom, boom, boom. Now you want another piece of me? Like, I don't have any more pieces except being a mama because there are multiple children. Unless my own son was like, if he was around someone and there's kids around and it's like, hey, look back there. There he is, like with his siblings. Like, if you zoom in, so we're literally live, and everyone that's got to tune on the podcast, we're showing pictures that are around. Man, someone else's kids didn't matter. It was like, he's going to go make sure they have food. And it's because of when you grow up without, and you have to depend on like someone around you that hopefully steps up, hopefully doesn't happen. But there are occasions where you do find people who do it. And when I do, I'm like all about like, hey, let's discuss, let's talk, let's figure this out. So I do want to say that Ty, I see you. He did challenge Ranger Rick and said that Ty on his mission will definitely go like this. And I know what he's doing too in boot camp. And I'm like, okay, I want to see Ranger Rick with Ty, which Ty
I do. I think it would be great. Like, let's do this.
Like, and so I have Patriot Fest. Patriot Fest, I mentioned one of my biggest outlets is music. It's medicinal for me. So everyone's like, she always has music. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Patriot Fest. So Patriot Fest will happen. It's definitely going to include the Tree of Valor. It's going to include Ranger Rick. It's going to include Mrs. Mariah there because when you watch her episode, on Patriots Inside the Wire coming up on September 18th. You're going to learn more about what she does. And so right now we want you to know that she is a wife right now, someone serving active duty. She has her son that I have a picture of up right now. And I say Keith, because I'm like, I don't know, man. You meet people, and sometimes when you meet them, it's like, oh my gosh, I've known you for 20 years. And I'm like, it happened. And I went, oh my God, like, what are y'all doing to me? Because I just lost a sister, and a few people know, but not, I mean, I'm going to go speechless again, and that's rare for me. So I'm not going to go there. But what I'm going to say is, man, it's just not okay to keep losing everybody, right? And then I'm still over here going, okay, let me jump to go do this, but not a single phone call about, hey. But I got to figure out something to help. There's kids calling me. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I promised since I was little that I would never, ever, ever, ever turn my back if someone was like, how are we going to eat? How are we going to like figure out just to have, I need a microphone and a room to just at least go into, they're not military, but I had my son in there, and it's like, so no, the whole family's not included. Now I could go to, ironically, the base near me. It is, when I say great, I'm going to tell you the programs that I work with, and everybody has their opinions, and we all know for a fact there are things that are being done that are wrong, that need to change. You're speaking to the choir here. Do we know this? Yes. The largest Army base is Fort Hood. So, yeah, I know this, but what we got to do is work together, and we have got to stay involved. It's like, you can't just leave it and think that everybody's bad. Am I going to turn my back on your husband who's serving right now? Hell no. Am I going to turn my back on anybody like serving like that? Absolutely not. That means they're turning on my own child. Like, there he is over the corner. There's your son.
I saw that. There. Yeah, that's great.
I'm like, look, and it's so like when you look at them when they're in, it's like they all kind of resemble because of the, and that whole variety, the whole Ranger. You know what I told you earlier? Okay, so Rangers lead the way. That's RLTW. She knows what I'm about to do. MLTW. Okay, hashtag MLTW. Miss Sheila knows what I'm talking about right now. MLTW. Etienne. MLTW. Rangers lead the way. Guess what? When ours can't speak, we are a voice for the voiceless.
Yep.
Moms lead the way. Now, do I include the families? Yes, but yeah, I do it. Hashtag MLTW. And I told you that, you were like, oh my goodness. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, her and I have, she knows it, like, and it'll go from like sad to like, oh. And so those are the moments that you're like, that a little bit of relief there on the heart. So I just greatly appreciate it when people choose to do the right thing. They choose to come and step up. They want to make sure that everybody's treated okay. And look, if you made a mistake or you just had moments that, you just weren't okay, or look, I haven't been in moments, but, I want to be kind to everyone, and I'm not going to go do what someone else is doing because it may be happening around me, or if it's to me, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, because I'm not going there, don't go there. Like, let's not go there. But if you did, just say sorry, like, and let's just do something about it. Like, I don't want to get into a war.
No.
Who wants to go to war? I mean, come on, man.
We love them. Like, there's no separation for us. Like, we don't, we're not even the ones that hold that separation. And so really, like, we just want to love on each other. And I know that sounds so hippie, like, we just want to love on each other, but we do. We just want to love on the other families, right? The families of the fallen, just period. Right. Families of the fallen. Just that's where it can end. Well, like, that's the period.
I have to do this, Mariah. I'm letting you say that last piece because it is correct. I'm leaving your son's picture there, by the way. I'm going to do the ad that was sent to me for Ranger Rick, who will be on next Wednesday, 8:15. And I do that for a reason. Everybody's like, 8:15. And I'm like, yeah, when you disrupt something that's not on time, it's like, okay, no, it's not 8:15. People are like, wait, did she say 8:15? Yep. Guess what? You're going to remember that more because she's like, why wouldn't she do 8? Well, there's a reason. So as long as a reason, there is a way to just like make it better without going where you shouldn't go, right?
Yeah.
So I do have this ad that production put in here that I'll do for the Man 22, which is coming up in September on the 6th. And then Ranger Rick himself will be here next Wednesday. And I call him the like Ranger Hulk. Like I was like,
I think you need to do that next Wednesday. I think you need to do that.
I will. I think you know me literally, so you know that I can't not. Like I'm one of those.
All I can think about is
it's you. Yeah, she's blowing. Like she's taking her thumb. She's blowing for everybody that's not watching this. And like he's blown up. Is he blown up? Yes, he is. It's like the Hulk. That's the only thing I can think of. Is like
the muscles. I just need half of them.
No, I don't even have a percent of it. I know that. I've got to start doing more about that. But no, like if I had a little more time, I would have made it down there because it's just the timing. But I know now, and we're all connecting to the right people at the right time, and that's just how it works, right?
So Tracy, that means you're going to be in North Carolina next September for this run, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Not only that, we've already been talking about Patriot Fest with Tree of Valor. So she's like, can you get me on that base here, there? I'm like, yeah. Like, that's really easy, actually. She's like, I was like, no, that's easy. That's too easy. Like, yeah. And then, yeah. And then she immediately was like, there is someone you've got to meet. There is someone you've got to call. And like, your contact comes again. And I scroll back and she's like, I could have sworn that I sent you that information previous. And I'm like, well, I've had some things happening that I just haven't gone there yet. Like, this is going to have to go on a Netflix thing or a documentary. Like, that's what I've been researching right now is documentary. I love documentaries. So I do one? Oh, yes, I will. That was a little bit of my radio voice. You'll notice that it changes because it's like, do I need to say a website? So the Man 22, it is September 6th. Mr. Ranger Rick, the Hulk, will be here at 8:15 p.m. We are Central Standard Time. We are about to change our time, actually, and add more shows. So don't freak out on me, production, but I'm telling you, there's a broadcast team. There really is. We are not just on Facebook right now. I'm telling you, folks. We are, and I love it because like everybody's like, she said folks, and she says y'all, and she says, I'm like, okay, I grew up in Tennessee and now in Texas, like, and then some people are like, I don't hear any kind of Southern, and I'm like, it just depends on my mood at the moment. Like normally I don't, but if you get me overly going,
Oh,
yeah.
if I get with those strong, like those accents over there in the East Coast, I love it. My daughter-in-law has the most beautiful South Carolina accent, and I'm like, she says y'all all the time, and I know that I pick it up from her a lot because we chat a lot.
I'm like, I just said folks. It's just like it was normal for me, but I'm all about the people, everybody. So don't be sending me any messages that it's not. I mean, there's all these posters behind me that other people have made and been using him as a poster, but yet he's not. And I'm like, come on, please. And this is why I will never go take someone else's picture somewhere. See, that's why you got to get a hold of me because I am not going to do it. You have to like get a hold of us. And one of those ways is just go to the website. It's always on the flyers. All the information. I even list the channels. We have more channels than that, but podcasts, it's real easy. Patriots Inside the Wire. Inside the Wire means you're safe. Patriots means we include all of our people, and people are people. So you're all included. you're all included to go with this run that's happening and be involved on September 6th. Ranger Rick himself, and I'm telling you, you do want to see this. So I would definitely not do just the podcast, but we do both at once. So you want to see this too. Go check out our YouTube TV. Go to our website. We actually even are on a broadcast channel. There's a whole lot of places to find us. Patriots Inside the Wire. So again, patriotsinsidethewire.com. What we want to do is make sure that you know about Ranger Rick, who's coming on next Wednesday, 8:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we thank you for joining us at patriotsinsidethewire.com. We hope that you continue to do that. Share, like, subscribe. Right now, I'm going to play the ad, Mariah. And for those that are out there, it's a M-O. It's not M-A. So I was like, more, Mariah? More. Like, I was thinking more. You're more. And I'm like, yay, there's more. So
there's more.
So even with you, it's like, so I'm just me. So like, even talking to Ranger Rick, I remember you saying like, you were like treading lightly. And I always use that because my son's last post that he made was this song by Aaron Lewis. And it's about, don't tread on me, this country. And I don't need to tell y'all the name of it or anything, but if you don't know it, you need to go listen. And I'm not saying because of the artist, I'm saying because of the words. And so he like posted all the lyrics, and then within hours he was killed. And like, do you know how many times I'll listen to that song? Because I'm like, if you hear the lyrics in that song by Aaron Lewis, for the country, don't tread on me, I'll take this to my grave. I can't,
Yeah.
but what I want to tell you is just the lyrics themselves. Why would he pull those lyrics and put those up? And it's like, so all of his buddies, everybody, it's like, you know, that song has, and I still, when I like hear it, I'm like, oh, if I ever meet this individual, he has no clue like how that post of my son's has been like, not just for me, but, you know, when he'd already been in Iraq for an extended amount of time, not your normal length, and there's a reason. And then going to Afghanistan, his others right by him, his brothers and sisters were not okay. Like they were like, this is not okay with us. We have been training in a desert at war, preparing for war, like, and now he's killed? Like, no. And I'm like, yeah, I feel the same way, but you got to go to Afghanistan and I'm not going to disrupt you. I got this. Go do what you need to do and I'll handle this. And they're like, but Mama Two-Step, like, I'm not okay from it. And I'm like, how not okay are you? Because if you're really that not okay and you're about to go over there, we need to talk. Like, here's my number. And everybody's like, you give out your number. I'm like, yeah, I do. You know, there's more good that comes with that than there is bad. If someone hadn't had my phone number to give to you, to like call me and say, hey, you need to know about something, I'd have been like, I wouldn't have known. Listen, don't try to do the Facebook message things to me, because normally what happens is, you know, I'm gonna not see.
You're gonna get lost in the sauce over there because I don't. It looks like I do because I have a way that I can get in through all sorts of accounts. There's a way to do it, and so it's not just social media. But when I hit different accounts, it's a lot of accounts at once. So I don't want to miss something. So if it's that important, I really need you to use the website. I really need you to use the email. I really need you. And then if it's even further than that, somebody's going to have my phone number very easily. It's not hard. And if you need to find me, like there was someone recently and that's how it led me to you. And so I'm like, okay, well, it just keeps happening. And each person that I meet, they end up on their journey too. And they may have to move in a different direction, which is okay. They're still a piece of me. And I miss a lot of them right now. You know, I mentioned Joey Lenz early and his mother. And I've got Anna Hernandez, who's down here. We brought up Etienne. And I've got, you know, Caleb
Smitty checks is happening, like all good things. But these are people who are also working on things, and what's working for them is wonderful. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. And so I'm always happy when I know that there is a difference being made. Something is happening and they're working on something, and I will always be here. Like, we have our moments where we have to like step into this, step into that. I'm always going to be cemented into this. So I'm like, I've got to find somebody that is good with doing it like this. Like, let's just keep going, because I know that we can do it. I know that if we stick to this, we can do this. So again, Mariah, thank you for coming on so that we understand what these are. As far as
Thank
when
you
someone
for
says
having
Gold
me,
Star
Tracy.
Mom, Gold Star Family, thank you for being that mama bear who like bit back and said, absolutely not. I am not going to, this is not okay with me. Like, I don't even know what you said. I just know that you
That
did
comes from being an FRG leader, which is a family readiness
readiness group. I know
leader.
all about that.
And
Yeah.
I was that for many, many, many years. And I just
recognize
absolutely,
it.
yeah. So,
Yep, the FRG, the Family Readiness Group. Know all about it, folks. That comes from being in the Army. So, I always say the different branches have their different ways of taking care of people. And it's honest to God, it's so true. Marines, they have their way. And I'll even take this, like, I'm going to get a lot for this one, because I'm like, yes, RLTW Rangers, like Army. But my son was like, I'm going to do Marines, Mom. I'm not. And I'm like, hold up, son. Hold up. Like, he's very intelligent, too. It's not like he could just, like, he was, like, just built. I was like, man, he's built for this. I even have some guilt because I am the one who encouraged. So, I go through that phase where I'm like, man, like, it's just not okay. It's not okay to lose a child, and it definitely isn't okay to have people like tearing their claws into you to like take out another piece of your body. Like, I don't understand that. Like, none of it's okay. So, but I was very excited because I did get to hear that Tats, Miss Bonnie Carroll, did something. I just wish I had known a little sooner, because I'm like, wait, don't stop. There's actually someone to call. And there's actually someone that is yeah, there is. Like, there is a way to do this. So I just needed somebody else who was going to go, yeah, I want to do this. And I was like, there's got to be, it's going to happen if I just keep at it. So, and I guess, I don't know, like this one upstairs is like over me going, okay, boom, boom, like, like Swiss cheese. Like, here I am. Like, I do have holes in me. I do have like parts of me that are like hurting, but hey, I don't know. I will fight, like, not with my hands, but I will make sure that I don't have to have somebody else to continue to get the calls or to continue to get the information. Like, this is just not okay. So, but we have Ranger Rick coming. That is the reason Mariah came, was because she wanted to make sure that everybody knew, because this is coming up. So the suicide awareness run is happening. The Gold Star families are being taken care of. Ranger Rick, shout out again. He is on next Wednesday. I'm telling you, you need to see this, not just listen. Like, you want to visualize the Hulk, like in his like everything, and then like, oh my goodness. When I was sent these pictures, and like, I had pulled up one, but I was like, and then I don't hold back. So it's like, I just immediately come out with the truth. And it was like, and you're in that same message, like,
yeah. I saw your message and I was like, oh gosh, he has no idea. And she has no idea.
I don't know, but I'm just honest. So I was like,
oh, I'm sure he hears it all the time. That's why it was so funny. He was like, what?
A lot of people probably hold back. Most people would like kind of hold back and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like, okay, all right. Ranger Hulk. Like, what? That's what's up. He's
I
like,
love it.
he's
His new
whispered to
nickname with
me,
us.
what's up? What's up? I'm on the lake. I'm chilling with my wife. But yeah, I'm down. Put me on the books. I'll be in there. And I'm like, dang, water. I'm like, oh, medicinal.
Just remember, if you guys are tagging Ranger Rick for this tonight, it's RNGR,
Yes.
not RANGER, because
Right.
Ranger Rick the raccoon and Ranger
Yeah.
Rick. So we
Yes.
got the. So just make sure that RNGR, if anybody's looking for him on socials and everything, that is his brand, RNGR Rick.
Well, it is. And guess what? You'll see him, you'll hear him, you will do everything you can think of. Well, let me take that back. You can witness why I was like, and someone like me will immediately say something like, I'm just honest. So I was like, all right, well, he's either going to love me or hate me, but I have a feeling as long as I am just me and I stay true to who I am, and that does rub people wrong, right? So it's like, ugh. But no, to be honest, like I am actually not. It's ironic, right? I'm actually not like super strong. I'm not a kind of fighter that someone might think of when you think of fighting. I don't know another word except that I just didn't know another way. That's just what the world that was delivered to me, literally delivered into. And so what else do you do? For me, this is what I do for my journey. And with my journey, we got to get the word out for everything that's happening, take care of our people. And again, we're still trying to figure out the monetary side of everything that's going on in our world right now. Like I brought up gas and groceries again, .us, gasandgroceries.us. Check that out, folks. I'm going to run an ad really quick for Ranger Rick because that event is September 6th and Mariah will not be here, but you can check her out on the 18th. Stand by while we run the ad for Ranger Rick. He is doing the Man 22 and it is on the 6th, but come on, next Wednesday. And I'm telling you, you do want to see this. You actually, I can't, I'm like, uh-oh. Like, the two of us on, and I'm like, maybe I need a third person in here, but nah. I think the personality's already, I'm like, I'm just going to sit back more. So, and I'm trying to do that. But I'm glad you got to go live. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm so glad I got to be here first. So... It's like we'll be connected forever. Could you do this too? So listen, folks, I found somebody who's like already going there, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I do have another wife that will do like some guest spots. She will be coming up. I actually met her in person, and she's amazing. She likes to do videoed as well, recording. And so I'll be doing some special things there and then trying to hit that 2 million mark. But we also got to figure out, gas and groceries.us. Right now, Mr. Ranger Rick is running the suicide awareness run. He will be on the show next Wednesday. Patriots Inside the Wire. Check it out, patriotsinsidethewire.com. And here is that ad. Hey, folks. you got to see that. So if you're just listening, that's fine, but you can easily find it. Go to YouTube, the TV. Like, I know that's easy for people, and so is Facebook, rather than finding our actual broadcast. Or if you just want a podcast, you want to listen. There's a QR code there. It's very easy to figure out what's going on there. And as you mentioned, Mariah, Ranger being RNGER Rick, you can follow him online. But we're going to have a lot more of him literally next Wednesday. And so for that, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight. And we are going to roll out here on Patriots Inside the Wire. Thank you for sharing and caring, Mariah, and for your whole family, your whole family.
Thank you. You too. You too.
I go speechless. That's what happens. And I want to say, tune in, because we will have Mariah on the 18th. So check it out on a Wednesday. Don't miss Ranger Rick. Trust me, just don't. Like, I'm going to have him yelling it out for the next week. We'll be working on his to get that out. So, and I'll be talking to Mariah about that too. So, all right, tonight on Patriots Inside the Wire, it has been one of those shows. We're going to wrap it up. We thank our agricultural commissioner who came in and gave a true account of just what was witnessed, in a way to go check out about gas and groceries. It was about the people, and it was just about a true account. I am not a politician. There's that disclaimer. I'm telling you just information. Whatever it is that you do, please do your homework. Please get informed and stay involved. And part of that is by voting. So please do this. Go. You've got about you're around the 2-month mark for early voting now. There's a whole lot of information. So you do need to go to your own, each state or federal. It's very, very easy. Vote.org. There's all sorts of things. But I will be doing another segment to let others know where I would go. But right now, I'm just kind of bringing it with me. So stay involved out there. Whatever it is for you that works, I say, okay. Like, that's why my son served. Like, are you allowed to state your opinion and you don't agree? Okay. Hey, you know what? Mariah, you said it too. I was like, oh my gosh, she says what I say. So you know what, Mariah, thank you. Thank your whole family. Thank you for jumping on for Ranger Rick, who will be on next Wednesday. I'm going to roll this out right here. Stay tuned as you roll out here with Patriots Inside the Wire.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for watching another episode of Patriots Inside the Wire, hosted by Gold Star Mom, Tracy Two-Step. Help us broaden our reach. Like, subscribe, and share.
Don't stop me, please. So I am my brother Two-Step.
There you have it. That was a sibling at the end. He's trying to do the cadence. I might have to get Ranger Rick or someone else that. I'm always like, no, that's too nice of a voice. Like the previous voice before my others. Like that's the sibling. That's his brother saying, roll call, silence. Sergeant Adam, my brother. Two-Step is what he's saying. So like, share, subscribe. I mean, listen, it is about the whole family. So. And it is about the community, and it is about the people. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, Mariah. It has been a relief and a wonderful, not for a good reason, but for the reason that we need to do what we need to do. So to continue on. So again, thank you for being here. I hope that you all tune in. There are 2 very different segments on this one. So pay attention. And you will actually probably learn more here than you might in your history class. So tune in, especially when Mariah gives you her history lesson on September 18th. So Wednesdays, check it out. Thank you for being here. We're going to say goodnight, Wednesday Warriors. Thank you for joining us. Tune in. Do not miss Ranger Rick. Trust me on this, please. You got to understand the Hulk is coming. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Good night. Thank you for joining us, Patriots Inside the Wire.